Hello. Okay. I'm trying to, wait just a second, make sure that I see what's going on. Hello. Finally I managed to make the encoder work, so it's going to be a little bit easier to work on this. But I think we need a little bit more brighter thing here. Give me just a second. It's quite bright. Let me turn this off. Okay. Hi Deborah, hi Carol. So the idea is to make a daisy cane and then have some chat. Hi Anna, hi Catherine. I'm going to use Fimo again, and we are going to do just a regular daisy cane, not exactly a full beginner cane, but kind of fairly beginner, if I can say so. Let me grab a photo to know what I'm looking at. So I don't make any bloopers. Okay. So generally speaking, what we have in a let me see if it does let me put in a photo. It's the first time that I managed to make the thing work, so hopefully it will let me do stuff. Okay. To say that I got a late insertion, but I don't know what exactly. Okay. No. It does not. Oh well. We'll just go on this the way it is. Hello. Okay, so let's just start with it because it doesn't let me put in. I'm gonna have to fiddle around with it to figure out how I can put in photos and other things. So I hope you can hear me well. If there's anything you cannot hear, just please let me know. So what I have, I'm going to work with Fimo Professional, except for the wrapping that's going to be Fimo Effects. Okay. Hi Judy, what does the C stand for? Because it's C Rochon, but what does it stand for? So as always when measuring, remember we are going to use the thicker setting on the pasta machine and the same cutter to cut everything. So first let's make the Skinner blend for the petals. Oh yeah, before I start, because I got this question over and over and over. People are asking, how do you figure out how much clay you need for your cane? Because I can never figure out how much I need. So let's say that I want my cane to be about this big and about this tall total. Okay. So what I do, I'm going to need the white. This is dolphin gray. If you don't have dolphin gray, you have to make a I think that you go into your account and you change it from there. So let's say I have this dolphin gray that's going to be the edge on some of the petals. Then I have the white, and let me cut it so I can stack it to get an idea. So it's going to be this, then it's going to be this, and then I'm going to need some yellow with just tinges of a green and the terracotta. I'm going to use the terracotta as well. So this will be the petals of the flower, okay, and this will be the green in the middle. That's going to be about this wide, approximately round, and it's not that much of the terracotta and the others that I'm going to need. So pretty much I know that, see, because this one is not the right height, so this one should do what I need to do. So let's prepare the thing for the Skinner blend, and we are going to make several Skinner blends. First, let's make the one for the petals, and I just made this very thick. And I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to place it in two. Just not to start with one that's already too wide. And then I'm going to place my dolphin gray at the end. And as usual for any kind of Skinner blend, I'm going to pretty much, oops, sorry, the dolphin gray is not very conditioned, and I did not bother to condition it because, what the heck, just make a line here pretty much, because I'm going to show you once again how I do my Skinner blends, how I manipulate them while I'm driving them through the pasta machine. And you want some pure gray at the very end. So this is going to be it, and we'll just manipulate this Skinner blend when creating the petals. Okay, let me take another look at the flower. Okay, now let's get on to the machine. Make sure that you can see it. Okay, so it's on the thickest setting right now. want to fold it to narrow it. So I'm folding it in two first, then run it like this. And then fan fold it to narrow it. Hi Fran, how you doing? Now normally I would take it back to the tile and roll the roller over it to thin it out, but I don't want to keep moving the camera back and forth, so I'm just doing it by hand. And you always want to hold it so it won't go askew. Now, another thing that I'm going to do is just for a few petals, I will want the white end to have a little bit of translucency. So I'm going to grab some translucent. Now remember, the white clay is the most opaque of all the clays. Thank you. And I'm going to grab just a little bit of this. Let's get this to the side for now. Fan this out again. So as I said, the white is always the most opaque of all. So I'm going to start gradually add the translucent, sorry, and do the very end translucent only. And the problem with Fimo, like with all the other clays except for Primo, is that the translucent, until it is baked and cooled, is white pretty much. Hello, hello. So let's go now with this one. Okay, now the thing is that different than Cernitan, Pardo Fimo still has a little bit of translucency when it's raw. So as you can see, there's a line here. So obviously I didn't get the proper gradient yet. So the way that I usually enhance gradients whenever I'm doing Skinner blends, I have this, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold it in a diagonal to form a V shape. And that is pretty much like this. And I will do that 2 or 3 times, because after I put it through the machine like this, I'll just simply fold it normally, but I will be checking to see if I got a really fine gradient, because I don't want a completely pure translucent on this side. Okay, I want it to have a little bit of white, but not full white. So I'm checking it again. I still don't have complete gradient. So I'm going to do another V-shaped fold and run it through again. Now let's see. Now it looks like it is good. See how my gradient goes very, very gradually, but I still have a pinch too much translucent on this end, so I will be V-folding it one more time. And this time I'm going to go even a little bit more narrow with the V-fold. And now I'm good. Now I'm going to make 3 types of petals. This will be one of them. So what I will be doing with this is to get it first doubled, and then I will get it through the pasta machine first on the thickest setting and then gradually thinner so I can fold it. And then this one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it in a diagonal. Hi Donna. And cutting it in a diagonal will give me 2 different plugs, one that will have more of the grayish part and one that will have more of the whitish part, and I'll show you how. This saves me the trouble of making 2 different Skinner blends. So I first cut it like this. And then of course I will be getting it through the pasta machine in length, the same as the other one, and the same for this one. So let's get again to the pasta machine. And first I'm getting all of them through the thickest setting. Move 2 down. Two more down. And I could go even thinner, but I'm not going to go forever like that. So you can see me. That's good. Now we will place the so we have this one that's got a darker, then we have this one that has less of the darker gray, right? So we are going to start fan folding both of them, and I usually don't make large folds because I want my gradient to be quite subtle. And this is the part that in a taped tutorial I would skip over, so you don't have to watch me doing all these fan folds for minutes on end. And yeah, you can use Primo with this or other clay, but it is a very straight line-ish cane, so that's why I prefer to use Fimo Professional, because it is much firmer, so it will not start stretching around like crazy. Oh, hi, Chris. Hey, it's nice to see you. See, that's why I like to do this at noonish, because for most people it is watchable. Fran is kind of has to stay up late to be able to watch it, but for Europe it's not that bad. And do the same thing with this one. Now remember, this one has an almost transparent end. And whenever you want, when making a easy peasy daisy cane, it's fine, you can kaleidoscope it. But when you want to make a more artsy-fartsy daisy cane, you do not kaleidoscope it. You kind of take care of each petal in turn if you want a little bit of 3D on it. Okay, I saw you, Jill. But you'll have to tell me exactly what's the... You need to get in the chat. Now, I don't know if you're on the phone, if you can see the chat. I think that most phones don't show the chat. You'll have to be on a computer. There's one of the ladies who's in my subscribers. She sent me a message this morning that she has some mixture issues with textures, and I asked her if she could come to the live, so hopefully I can help her during the live. Fran is in Australia, and some of the other ladies are in Europe. Okay, so this would be the first Skinner blend. Now let's move on and make the middle. Now for the middle, I'll actually need a touch of green, and I do not have Fimo green, but I will be doing something else for that touch of green, because we always have, obviously, whatchamacallit, alcohol inks. Okay. Now, generally speaking, on a... Yeah, I don't know. She said she doesn't know how to chat. How to let me know that she's here. Okay. So, generally in the middle of a daisy, you'll have pretty much 3 different color of those little staminas. The one in the middle that will be a little bit more orangish than that's in the very, very middle of the circle. Then you'll have a little bit in the, because you have the center that's a little bit more orangish. Then the next circle is pretty much yellow, and then the border circle has some green tinges. So, considering that, these are going to be very tiny Skinner blends, and the one in the middle has the least surface, so we are going to make the... Okay, I can see what you're messaging me, so I'll look to that. Then the middle will be a little bit bigger, and then the one on the edge obviously would be the largest. So for the one in the middle that's got a little bit of an orangish tint, I'm going to grab a touch of terracotta, and I'm going to put it right here at the edge. Now, normally you'd think, because this is going to be almost like a bubble cane, and normally you'd think, why do you make a Why do we make a Skinner blend instead of making a simple bullseye cane? You know, the one that just has the color in the middle and then it's wrapped in another color. And I'm going to tell you why. Because generally speaking, when you reduce that kind of bullseye cane to very, very small dimensions, it's kind of lost. You know, when you have that wrapping around, it's going to be kind of lost. But if it is in a Skinner blend instead, you will still be able to see all the details. This is why, if you remember, at one point I had a few videos and lives, and I talked about micro caning, and that is reducing canes to microscopic dimensions while still keeping all the pattern intact and visible. And I was telling you then that not all canes are good for micro caning. When you have a micro caning project in your mind, you have to design that cane specifically for micro caning, so that the pattern that you put in there will be still visible whenever it's reduced to insanely small dimensions without it becoming a complete blur. So at this point I'm going to just put it through the machine. And I can show you, but it's just a simple, pretty much line gradient. The other way to make a polygon. And we do it with the yellow middle. Actually, I have a little bit too much terracotta. I'm not going to leave all of it there. See, I have a very refined gradient, and I will let the pure terracotta to go around it just once. And I'm going to remove the rest. So this is my first one. The next one has actually I got the wrong one, didn't I? I need a little bit more yellow. I made the middle one with orange in the middle. Just a second. for the next one I need, you know, just a faint touch of, this is the calabaza orange, and I'm going to get something to pour it on. And that is all that I'm going to use. See, only this. And with this I'm going to make a Skinner blend as well. And I'm going to actually elongate it so I can fan it a little bit, because this is a tiny Skinner blend. From the machine. It doesn't look like much color difference, but I can assure you that there is a color difference. I'm going to just pull on it to elongate it to be the same dimension as the other one. And do the second. Now comes the third one, and on this one we'll always have to do, the tinting with alcohol ink, and this is the rainforest green. And I'm going to do the same thing because the alcohol inks are very strong and we don't need that strong. So and I'm going to make this one into a Skinner blend as well. Let me first extend it. So I can have it thin enough, narrow enough. The same on all of them, the darker part is on the outside. And now slightly green tinged. The very end is still has a pinch of yellow. So I'm going to simply pull on it. Yeah, very little. You'll see it very, very little, but on the whole, whenever you start putting it together, it's going to look very pretty. And now, so we have one with just a touch of orange, one with a touch of green, and the one with the terracotta in the middle. And now comes the most interesting one, if you want. So I'm going to get a slice of white, and this is pretty much how much it would be the 1.5 inch cutter on the thickest setting. And about half as much yellow, even like 1/3 that much yellow. And do a skinner blend with this. This will be the outer circle, the foremost outer circle, but it will have a little bit of a special thing to it, and that is I'm going to place a touch of green here and a touch of green here, and you'll see why in a second. Yeah, it's just going to be a little bit more stretchy. As I said, I did this because Fimo is better on precise canes than Primo. And it got too wide too fast, so I'm going to fan it again to narrow it down a little bit, because it got too wide before the gradient started happening. It's Fimo Pro. The Fimo Soft after the reformulation is not very far from Sculpey 3. It's definitely too soft for canes. The only thing that's different is the translucent that's effects. so I have the gradient now, so I'm going to stack it to get it elongated. And now I'm going to put it through the machine like this. Yeah, all Primo white is lousy. I guess you probably have a different batch. So I'm going to roll it with the white inside. And what we are going to do with it, you remember the barbed cane? So cut it in 4. Get each of the 4s and bring the edges over towards the middle. Do you want me to get it closer to the camera? Let me get it closer to the camera. Because now that I have the encoder, I can do that. Okay. Hold on a second. Oh, come on, where are you? There you are. Okay. Okay, so you have it like this, your quarter, right? So what you do, come on, okay, so what you do, hold your middle finger here. It's okay, this is going to go away, it's not an issue if you have a little bit of air here. So hold your middle finger here on the other side than the one that you're trying to bring up, and then hold the cane also from the ends, and then with your thumb bring it over the edge towards the middle, and do the same on the other side. And the last one, so middle finger here, hold the cane, now I did that for all of them. Now what I'm going to do again, hold on the both ends and then gently squeeze it flat. Do the same for all. Now the colored ends will have the tendency to stay behind a little bit, so gently pull them out. See how it's much shorter here than here, so gently pull pull on them so they get the same length as this. And then simply arrange them side by side. Check on both ends if they are properly arranged. I'm going to just give it one roll each way, and then I'm going to cut them in the middle. And again put them side by side and press together. They will not be, this will be a very, very small area around the middle. Now I can get this back to normal so we can start finally building the cane. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think it's the pigment. Do you use the softener on it, Chris? Yeah, you need, I think that you need first to get it into a food processor before doing anything else. Get it into a food processor with some softener, either the Fimo softener or the Sculpey clay softener. Get it in small pieces. If you can, grate it on a grater, and then get a small food processor and put it in there with the softener and grind it there some. So I'm doing again the same thing. Yeah, Fimo, if it's not old, is not hard at all. I mean, you can see this is all Fimo Professional. It's not that bad. It's actually starting to get quite soft. And one more time. Okay, so we have to get this to about like this. I'm going to refocus this so you can see what is the result. You see it? So pretty much this is what we want. Now let's start working on the middles. So this will be the middle, which is super easy to make. Of course, remember, always start from the middle of the cane outwards, because you don't want the one in the middle to. In my case, it's not really the case because it's still fairly soft. And get it long enough to be able to cut it in 7. It's okay if it gets a little bit out of shape. Hold on, I'm trying to find my. There we go. I'm working on a ton of things here. So just a little bit longer. Because remember, whenever you have the nature's auto arranging thing is with 6 sides. That's how the honeycomb is. So if you have a middle and 6 logs, the logs are all of the same size, the logs would automatically arrange themselves perfectly around the middle. So I mean, because that's how the bees form the honeycomb. They just get themselves packed together with their little butts in the wax, and this is automatically the pattern that forms. Now I'm going to get this one and do the same thing a few more times. And this is not small enough yet, so we will do it one more time to get the size that we want of the cells in the middle. Yeah, I mean, nature has the golden number. It can be found in so many things. How did you lose us on PlayStation? Did the kids start playing? Okay, and this one should be the perfect size we need for the middle. So we arrange it one more time. And it will be about this small. I'll show you how small it is. I'm gonna do again the refocusing. Okay. This is pretty much how small it has to be. Okay. Now, the next one is the pure yellow one. So we'll do pretty much the same thing with one difference. So remember, we did this 3 times, right? We'll do this one 3 times too, only that the 3rd time, I see how the middle started getting cold and it stays behind. And this one isn't even as important because the color difference is so small. Actually, I think we'll do it only twice. The first time will be exactly like the first one. Let me get back on the chat to see what's... Hello, Maggie. Thank you. So again, we are looking for 7 inches. This end is not good. And as I said, this seems to be almost no color difference, but when the full cane will be done, it will make a world of difference in the way it looks. So we do this only twice. And the second time we cut it only in 6. We don't cut it in 7. And you'll see in a minute why. Thank you, Deborah. I'm not the best. There are others who are much better than me. Let's say I'm good at figuring things out. So this one we only needed to be 6 inches, because this one we will cut in 6, not in 7. And these go here. See, in between each of the little logs that we got here. So why we cut it in 6? Because we don't need the middle one. Oh, thank you. Okay, and we'll leave it right here the way it is, because the next one will come in between those. So the last one is the greenish one, and again we start from the very middle. And yes, this one started hardening. It's hardening alright. So you definitely want to start from the middle and push outwards. And if you have any, see, like this one, you want to cut this away, because if you don't, as you extend it, it will start flopping and it will crack your whole log. So 7 inches. And of course we do it with the 6 around. And repeat. Yeah, practice does, makes everything. And until you start working and keep working until you do it right, there's no other way. Everybody makes mistakes, and nobody was born knowing everything. We all learn. And I said, I learn every day new stuff. Sometimes even from people who just began and they just figured out something that nobody thought of before. So, okay, and this one we will cut in 6. Again, we don't go all the way to the tiny, we needed that only for the middle. I want to remove the edges. and these go in here. So now this one we can round up. Gently and nicely. I don't want to let it go too long though. And then it's time for this. And this one actually needs to be a little bit thinner than this, but considering we'll need to put it around, it has to be 4 times the length of this. So you will have to make it about twice as long as it is now, without allowing it to get wider. That wasn't supposed to happen. And now I guess it's soft enough to just open it. Might have to be 5 times. So this is pretty much an inch. So 5 inches. Just a little bit longer. And see how we have a whitish part and a greenish, and a greenish part. Hi Cherry. Hi Linda. So we put the greenish part, goodness, the greenish part towards the inside, and the whitish part towards the outside of the cane. So we pretty much are past the hardest part. Okay, here I need only a smidgen. So we only need to do the petals now, and those will not be as hard as all this. I mean, it's not hard, it's just time consuming. But then once you have your pretty cane, it's like you don't really care. So make sure that your edges here are well together. Cane slicer, and we'll take a look at what we did here. No, it's not just less saturated. The problem with Ranger is that they are not waterproof. To be honest, I would suggest you buy the Exciter pack, or you can get them one by one. Get the primaries. Obviously, get a yellow, get a red, get a blue, and then once you have these three, of course, get an orange, purple, and a green. I'm not sure. Sometimes the Exciter pack is more expensive than if you get them together, but three others that I would recommend that you get would be the silver, the gold, and the pearl. Because it's got lines, Maggie. You came after I made it. It's okay, hold on. I will cut it and you'll see why. Because it's got lines running like this. And if I would have put it in length, the lines would have run like this. Okay. Now let's take a look at it. The brown is the orange is a little bit too orange for my own personal taste. Should have put less terracotta, but looks more like a daffodil than a hold on. I don't know if you can see everything. And there we go. Can you see the little lines here? It's got itty bitty, let me try with this. It's got itty bitty lines. You can get more close up. It's got little greenish lines that go like this. Okay, now let's go ahead and start working on the petals. And I think after I do the petals, we'll take a half an hour break so I can move a little bit around. Okay, the first petal will make the one with the translucent, because these will be the petals that are right on top of the others, so they will be a little bit longer. So first we need to flatten this out some more. And that might actually be too big, but that means that we can make more flower canes with it. It's definitely too big. Okay, with this one, first of all, I'm going to cut it in two because, as I said, I don't want all the petals to look the same. So let's build the first petal and see how I have the gray on this side. I'm going to actually make it askew with the gray going up a little bit on one side, but still being some in here. And then before I start reducing it to make it smaller, I'm going to do one more thing. Let me find my little cane bender. There you go. So I have the cane bender, but you can use, you know, like a bifran, like a crochet or a knitting needle or something. Go right in the middle here and holding it strong, push in. Because what you want to make is a, actually I'm afraid to push more with this, it's plastic, it's thin. Let me push in with the metal, if this metal is not really good. So make a dip in here and then simply put it together, because what we want to do is to make a gray line in there. And just close it. Now this petal is about the size of the whole, almost the diameter of the whole flower that I want, so I'm going to leave it like this, gently equalize it on the ends for now. Now let's get the second one. Yes, the set is absolutely gorgeous. Yes. I'm not sure if, let me check if Trish has it cheaper than Amazon. Give me just a second. Where you could find it the cheapest. Okay. No, this is the Lumiere. Let me see what else. No, these are also. No, give me just a second. Okay, and Amazon. So Trish doesn't have the alcohol ink exciter pack, only the Lumiere exciter pack. So let me look, because I know that I have them in the Amazon store. Okay, where's the inks? There you go, the inks. Okay, so on Amazon it's $24.48. I'm gonna put you the link, and then you can get separately the silver. There you go. Why don't you let me put my link? No, it doesn't let me. Doesn't want to let me put links. Let me try the... This is ridiculous. Okay. I put you the link to my inks section in my Amazon influencer store, and if you scroll down, you'll see them. They are right near the pearl and near the Lumiere. They are pretty much the line before last in the whole thing. Okay. No, I tried twice to put the link direct to the item and it didn't let me. It only let me put the link to the whole list. Okay, so the second one, I'll do this one and then I need to take a break. With the second one, we are going to just leave the gray on the very bottom. Actually, no, let's put the gray all the way to the side on this one, because we have all the shadow of the petals, so we are transforming it in length on the other, in the other direction. So you'll have the gray on this side and then gently pull it over. And again, let's do a dip in here to bring a line of gray inside. So we got our main big petals done. So these are the main large petals. The other ones will be the ones that are kind of like under them. Okay. Okay, so it is 2:02. I'll see you back at 2:30. Okay, I'll start a new live for that one, because I really need to move really bad. I'm sorry. So I'll see you in half an hour. Okay, thank you for being here and see you in half an hour.